We live in the part of the world where it doesn't get earthquakes.
Yeah. First of all, the time for the earthquake was 11:11.
Hello, ladies and gents. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Lucy Davis, and today I am joined by the beautiful Hope and her husband, Tivon, and we are going to be talking about FTW project. Now, I was very, very excited when I met these two when I was in Morocco in November 2022. I was actually one of the speakers at Mark Atwood's retreat, and he took me on a wild goose chase on the day before we left to go into the Sahara Desert. And I was very, very privileged to be taken to your home. And I feel so grateful that I was able to come there. And I've wanted to do a conversation with you guys since, but it hasn't presented itself for many, many different reasons. And there was no better time than now, obviously based off of the recent experience of the Moroccan earthquake that has taken place. So both of you, it's great to see you.
It's so great to be here. I'm glad we're finally able to do this call, Lucy.
I know. We spoke about it a few times, Hope, didn't we?
Yeah. It took a while.
But life gets in the way. But here we are. And obviously it's divine timing. So both of you live in Morocco.
Mm-hmm.
How long have you been living in Morocco now?
We've lived in Morocco, the country, for 9 years.
9 years now.
The first couple of years we were up north in Tetuan. And we've lived the last, what's it been, 6 years?
Almost 6 years.
6 years in Marrakesh, right outside of the city of Marrakesh.
Beautiful. And what took you to Morocco in the first place?
Well, I came here, this was just before we met. I came here because my family was working on a project building an energy generator in one of the villages up north in Morocco. And I stayed here for a month working on that project. And I absolutely fell in love with the culture, the people. And I realized that I could relocate here. I could start a business here. They had all kinds of laws set up for that, for people to come in and move to Morocco to start a business. Nice. So I said, that's it. After my month-long trip, I said, I'm moving to Morocco. It took me about 5 or 6 months to pack up my life back in the US and moved to Morocco. And in between that time is when we met. Yeah. And I said, why don't you come visit me in Morocco? And he came and visited and never went back.
Oh, I love that. That's such a beautiful love story. Honestly, my followers will love that. They love love. And honestly, everyone's completely in love with love. So you guys have found yourself living, residing, setting up a business in Morocco. And we're going to talk about your business, which is the FTW project. And for those of you who don't know what that is, oh my goodness, it is the most powerful, powerful, powerful energy you are ever going to have in your life. So do keep listening to hear more about that. Now, the reason I reached out to you a week or so ago, Hope, was obviously just to send you my love around the earthquake that you guys have recently had. So before we start talking about your beautiful Organite, I would just like us to touch on that, if that's okay, because we had a conversation offline, and I actually think it's a very important conversation that people need to hear. So as obviously a couple and your family live in Morocco, like, how was that experience for you guys?
I'll let you start.
Well, as you can imagine, it's totally unexpected. We live in the part of the world where it doesn't get earthquakes, not for like centuries. So we were just watching a movie, and all of a sudden the whole house started shaking. Wow. And yeah, we didn't know what to make of it. Like, it took a couple of seconds for us to register that we're actually in the middle of an earthquake.
Yeah, because there's no earthquakes here. Nobody expected that.
And the whole house, it was a different movement too. It wasn't, I've been in tremors before where things are kind of rattling side to side, or shifting to the side. And this was completely different. It was like it was like an up and down, quick up and down.
Like on a trampoline kind of thing, that kind of.
No, but not like so much of a bounce. It's more like really quick,
just
really
wow,
quick. So it's like a judder. And then the whole house, and our house, by the way, is built on concrete reinforced steel, concrete. They do that construction for more of the recent buildings around here on a solid foundation, which it's like a concrete rebar and boulder
Wow.
boulder foundation. So it was really solid.
Solid.
And
Established.
thank God it is. But it was but the whole house did this.
Wow. And
So
how long did that go on for? Do you remember?
for us, it was 30 seconds.
Oh,
Around 30 seconds.
here's a couple things.
Yeah.
First of all, the time for the earthquake was 11:11.
Yeah,
at
that's when
night.
it started.
I heard
Right.
that.
That's pretty mind-blowing. And then yeah, it was about 40 seconds.
It was a long time.
It was a long time. And for
It's a long
us, everything was really shaking in the
Uh-huh.
house, but nothing fell off the shelves. Can I share the sign? The one thing that fell off the
Pl-
shelf?
Oh, please do, because I think there's a big message in that, Hope.
Right. So nothing in our house. We had glasses perched on the edges of shelves. Nothing fell
Yeah, silverware.
except this one sign fell off the wall.
Believe in the Lord your God, and you shall be established. Believe his prophets, and you shall prosper.
Right. The established part, I mean, that really hit me. That really hit me because our house was firmly established
Yeah.
in an earthquake. So, and
Oh,
there's
I've
some
got
interesting
goosebumps.
things. There's some interesting things because, like, we've had people who know us say they have an EMF protection products, Organite products factory right there at their house. We have a ton of our products here, and they generate fields of energy. So we're wondering if that might have something to do with the fact that maybe this is just a theory. I can't prove this, but there's some science and research we could do into this. But maybe the field generated from all this Organite that we've created here, it's like canceled out the vibrations of the earthquake to the point where nothing fell off the shelves.
Listen, I need to just speak up at this point, because I've been to your house, I've been to your property, and I was vibrating for about 48 hours after I left your place. You know, I'm so sensitive to the energies. And you remember, Hope, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And like literally I was like a child in a sweet shop, because the vibration that was coming through my body the whole time that I was there. And I can well believe, like, obviously I can't prove it either, but I can well believe what you're saying is the truth. And it feels the truth to me. It gave me goosebumps. So to me, that's speaking the truth. Now, I don't care if people believe me or not. That's down to them and their stuff. But the Organite that you guys produce is so powerful. So, you know, when you said to me, nothing fell, nothing broke, you know, there was only this one picture that fell earlier. My first question to you was, do you think it's got to do with your Organite?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Know? So
Yeah.
there's got to be something in that, which is amazing what you guys are doing, and obviously the protection that you've put around you and your home, unknowingly, knowingly, whichever. So that's really, really great. But what about other people? Like, what about your neighbors? Did they experience anything breaking or shame?
Yeah, so there's where we live, there's a mix of new houses
And older.
and old houses made out of mud. And
yeah, it's like on the border of
real,
a small village or villages.
Yeah, lots of little villages, and some of them are made out of concrete, and some of them are made out of mud
and rubble.
Packed mud bricks. And so those houses that are made out of those materials, a lot of them fell. We have our team, our Moroccan family that lives here and works with us every day. That's our family. They have family members that live in all of the villages. There was something like over 70 villages. At the last count I saw was like 74 villages
in the Atlas Mountains.
In the mountains were affected by this earthquake.
About an hour drive from us.
All right, there's a lot of little villages up there in those mountains, and the people that live there are very poor, very simple, very poor, lovely people. You know, so those were the ones that got affected the worst. People like, you know, in Marrakesh, a couple of old buildings fell in the city of Marrakesh, like in the Medina. The older buildings fell, and there were some buildings that they had to demolish afterwards because they were no longer stable. But just the older ones, the new buildings, they stood up. And there's building inspectors that have come here to check the structural foundations of everything to make sure that the building is safe. And they've been doing that with the buildings in Marrakesh, and also they've been going to the villages as well.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So, and I do want to say that I'm really, I mean, we've done a lot to help. There's been all different kinds of people organizing, bringing supplies to the villages and everything. So we've been giving and contributing like in many different ways to many different campaigns and stuff. So, but in addition to just the people coming together to help each other, which has been so beautiful to see this, I'm really impressed by the government, because I was telling you offline, like, you know, we lived through Hurricane Katrina in America back then when that happened, and the government response was horrid in America for that disaster.
Wow.
So to see what the government of Morocco has done, they've set up, there's footage, you can see footage, they've set up full tent cities with huge tents. They've brought in giant trucks filled with industrial kitchens to cook meals for thousands of people. There's been a lot of really impressive effort that has been put forth by the government to help their people in this time. And also there's a big global meeting coming in October that's going to be in Marrakesh and all through Morocco. The IMF will be here for their annual meeting. So they've really put a lot of effort into cleaning up and making sure that the buildings are safe, and telling everybody, don't stop traveling to Morocco, because Morocco depends on tourism.
Yeah.
And so I'm just really, really impressed.
Surprising.
Surprisingly impressed with
and
how
I think it's important to make sure that we get that message out there, because there's a lot of people around the world who sit there and finger point, and they're not in the belly of the beast, as I like to call it. So it's great to hear from you both who live there, and you have to see this daily, and you have to experience the way that the people are behaving, and you know, the governments are behaving towards their people. So, you know, the death toll has been significant, right? It's been horrendous. And
yeah, I don't know the exact number, but it's tens of thousands at this point.
And is it still rising daily at the moment? Are they still finding, or?
I don't know if the death toll ended. I think maybe shy of 3,000.
No, it was more. It was more. I'm sorry. I was following one of the campaigns of somebody who's been going. She's been keeping track of it, and I just don't have the numbers right in front of me.
That's okay. That's okay. But it's thousands, right? It's a lot of people.
It's many thousands of people have died. So because the reason is that these are remote villages, and they're not. These are people.
There's a lot of unreported.
They live like off the grid. You know, I think maybe the villages have some electricity, but like that's it. They don't have like civilizations up there. They have these little mud hut villages, right?
Absolutely.
So if a house falls on, you know, 10 people in the house,
how would you know?
Verify,
you know, and there's like, it takes a long time to report the deaths, and they're still, you know, they have to pull things out of the rubble. I mean, it's
Yeah, we do know there's a lot of displaced, you know, children, things like that.
There's a lot
so if you do the math as far as where the parents, then it ends up being a lot of people.
And then there's injuries, and people go to the hospital with injuries, and then the injuries end up killing them. Like somebody that we know, somebody that works with us, you know, her family lives in the villages, and the house collapsed on all of them, and some children died and immediately, but then others were pulled out of the rubble, but all of their organs inside were crushed. So they were still alive, but they were in the hospital. There's stuff like that, you know.
It's horrendous. It's
I mean, everybody we know has family living up there in the mountains with all of these stories about how they were crushed in their houses. So
oh my goodness. Which and I find this really, really fascinating, because as you both know, but a lot of my followers don't know, that after I'd seen you two on the Friday, the Saturday we went into the Sahara, and it was in the Atlas Mountains that unfortunately a fatality occurred. And you know, it's like, wow, it just literally took my soul straight back to that exact imprint. And you know, I was just like, God, we need to heal this space. There's obviously a lot of stuff that goes on here continually that probably people don't know about. And this is why, and it's just not fair that this happens again. You know, I just don't like it. So I've said to you both offline, and I'm going to say this publicly, I'm going to get my team and I and a lot of the groups that, you know, my conscious conversations, for example, to do a really beautiful meditation again for Morocco, just to bring a little bit of peace and a little bit of calm, because I wish I could do more. I really wish I could do more, but I'm going to do that side of things because I know that I can do that right now. And until I can do more, then obviously that's what I'm going to send in your guys' direction. But thank you for sharing that. I think that probably would have cleared up a few things that people, you know, people will have questions, right? And no doubt they'll comment below and I can ask you guys if I need to go back to them. So let's talk about FTW project, Fix the World project.
Just one more thing before we do that.
Yeah.
I just want to let people know to focus the energy on the fear, because
yes,
everybody here, they've never experienced an earthquake.
Yeah.
This is not an earthquake zone. Yeah. And so the people here are still very afraid and they're very shaken up because there were literally like hundreds of aftershocks. Yeah. So they were taken off balance and they're afraid that there's going to be another earthquake. And if you have a whole population of people that are in fear, yeah, that can be very dangerous, right? Dangerous, yeah. So absolutely. Please focus on any kind of energy work on that to bring peace and to help people to not be afraid, because absolutely. That's okay. I just want to make sure we got that. No.
Yeah, you don't need to worry about that. That's fabulous. Thank you for that. So let's talk about Fix the World project. Yes. Because it's amazing. So explain to me where this project came from, what it means. I mean, I obviously know because I've been here, but I've had this conversation with you guys. But for my followers, they don't know. Let's assume they don't know anything about you guys. So over to you.
Okay. So I'll let my husband, could you hand me the book? So okay. This is our background in our field. We work in technology, right? So we wrote this book called Forbidden Tech. It is the complete guide to energy, social, and biological technologies that they did not want you to know about. And so we are into energy machines and technology. My husband is an engineer. He's got this big, amazing background, and he's really, really smart, right? He's really good at what he does. But we're also very sensitive to electricity and, you know, energy weapons and things like that, right? So for ourselves, we created Organite. I'll let Tivon explain how he came across it.
Okay, well, so I mentioned on other programs, I came out of electronic harassment, being targeted at that capacity back in 2014. And anyway, when we came together, we started to try to figure out ways of helping mitigate some of the symptoms of being on the receiving end of such a thing. Because one of the symptoms are things like uncontrollable insomnia, being electrosensitive to anything being turned on, you know, like TV, Wi-Fi, you know, getting ill, getting sick easily by being around these type of things. And just those two things alone, if you can't sleep, and if you always feel like you're being made sick, or you know, you're very electrosensitive, you end up being very unhealthy, even to the point to where you know, you can't eat properly and just your health starts to deteriorate. At one point it got so bad that even I used to work out. I used to be on a you know, I used to be physically fit a lot more than I am now. And even if I'd go for a long run, at the end, normally you'd feel rejuvenated, you know, when you're done and you're like, and it was the opposite was happening. I was actually feeling more ill.
Oh, wow.
So if that can be believed. So one day, Hope's mother gave me this puck that was a composite that had aluminum shavings in it. And I didn't know what this was. And she said, well, why don't you give this a try? And I was very skeptical because at that point, I couldn't sleep for like almost over 2 weeks. You know, I'd try to fall asleep maybe for an hour here, an hour there, and then wake up. Wow. And I was really tired and really exhausted. And anyway, I took this to bed with me that night, and it was the first time I was able to sleep in those 2 weeks.
Hope's mother's amazing, by the way. I love Hope's mum. Honestly, I fell in love with her completely. Sorry, so you took this to bed with you that night and you managed to sleep okay?
Yes, yeah. And so that got me looking at this puck that had these aluminum shavings, and I'm like, what is this? And why would this work? And then so my technical hat came on, and I had to wade through a lot of different explanations online. Found that a lot of people were researching this sort of thing, were building versions of theirs. It's called Organite, and got me going, got me researching who Dr. Wilhelm Reich was, what was he working on, and then I came at it from a technical perspective. And we start to apply the concepts from how these metals and non-metals work together to create a field that is able to harmonize with the body and the environment.
So amazing. I love it. I just love it so much. So you've basically found this thing that is going to help people, and then you've done research on it, and you've noticed that, and you found out that actually there's some people that have cottoned on to this around the world, and all of a sudden it's like, wow, we can really, really help people with the background that you've got and the expertise that you've got in technology to really help people get that balance back. And you,
yeah, initially, it was for us. Everything that we have,
okay,
that
so it wasn't
showing,
it wasn't
was for us, and that's why it's kind of beautiful for our business. It's very beautiful because it was like, if we didn't have these things around, I'm convinced, and a lot of I might not even be here, because I'll give you the example. Anyone who claims to be under electronic harassment, one of the things that you probably hear about are people complaining of sharp pains being induced on their bodies, particularly around the chest area, around their heart muscle, around critical parts of the body.
Wow.
These are sharp pains. These are things that, feels like someone's actually trying to take you out, quite frankly.
Blimey.
That's what it feels like. So that on top of the insomnia. And so I was making these medallions. Once we started experimenting with mixtures of metals, non-metals, all kinds of metals, all kinds of crystals, we're mixing these things.
And we're going to explain in our presentation
why.
how we make our
The how
stuff,
and
so you
why.
can see the whole process.
So we started at first we're making these pendants, look nothing like this. You got yours.
Yeah.
I've got mine.
The initial one did not look like that. The initial one was like literally a black, ugly hockey puck. But I was wearing this around the beaches, and I always had it on me. And when I had the right mixture, what I was noticing is that the sharp pains went away. In a matter of a few weeks, the pains were completely gone.
Wow.
And we've had similar testimonies from other individuals out there who have been targeted by the same kind of electronic stuff, who had heart pains, and they say that they use our sleeping pods, which is this. They wear it in their shirt
like
pocket
during the day.
Because by putting this next to their torso, it completely stopped the heart palpitation problems that they were experiencing.
Wow,
And
that's
they
phenomenal.
Yeah, so it's like amazing testimonies have come out. And when Tivon first started making these for him, he said, "Hey, try this." Now, I suffered from insomnia for many years. And it was
you two must have been a right pair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the time, I didn't know she also suffered as well.
Yeah, I would try to, the second my head hit the pillow, I would get the monkey mind, and I'd start twitching, and I'd have like, energy jolts and things. And I think it was from the EMF in the environment.
Of course.
I definitely think that that's what it was. And I suffered for years because I could never get enough sleep, and I could never get good sleep. And when you don't sleep, like that's when your body's repairing itself, and all
your whole world falls apart if you don't sleep, right? Because
you can literally die.
You can't eat, literally,
Yeah, you're a mess. Like your life is a mess. So being able to sleep literally can change and save your life. It changed and saved mine. He gave me this hockey puck, as he was describing, and he says, "Here, just wear this pendant and see what you think." So I put the pendant on, and immediately I felt so relaxed, like I needed to take a little nap. Right? It's like I have to take a nap in the middle of the day. And I was like, okay. So I took a nap, and then I said, "You know what? Can you make something for me that's bigger, that I could hold next to my chest while I'm falling asleep?" And so that's where we got the sleeping pods from, because it's a much bigger piece. The bigger the piece is, the more powerful it is. So the pendant is good for, like, say, the torso area of your body. right? But the sleeping pod, it fits in your hand really, really
Perfect.
nicely. It feels smooth up against you. So I like to hold it like this as I'm falling asleep, or you could put it under your pillow.
It's good for your entire body.
You could put it next to the bed on the nightstand. But I tried the sleeping pods, and that was 7 years ago.
I want
I
to say
think
7. Well,
6 or 7
the
years
original
ago.
sleeping pod did not look like this either.
Anyway, my insomnia has completely gone away. I have not suffered from insomnia for like 7 years since using these. And there's been a couple of times where I forgot my sleeping pod.
Like we go to a hotel or
we're
something.
traveling or something, and I forget my sleeping pod. And then I'm like, I have the problem sleeping.
Wow.
You can tell when you've forgotten it.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was one night.
Quality of sleep changes.
I woke up and I said, I swear, I'm never going to doubt the effectiveness of our own products, because I didn't have the sleeping pod in the bed with me. And I was like, why can't I fall asleep?
Wow.
And I was like, it's because my sleeping pod was misplaced. Somebody made the bed. They were cleaning my bedroom. They made the bed and they took the sleeping pod out and put it somewhere else. And it wasn't in the bed when I went to bed. And I could tell.
Wow.
You know, so
he's not only your husband, he's your savior.
yeah, well,
I think it's the other way around.
Oh, that's lovely.
yeah.
So I know you're going to explain to us, you're going to share the presentation. Would you rather do that first and then share the different suite of products you've got, or do you want to share the different suite of products? Yeah, okay, cool. Do you want to
let's do that, because that's
yeah, I think so. I think it will be really helpful and really informative for people, because we like to know where things are coming from and the logic behind it, and and then obviously people can reach out or whatever off the back of that.
Absolutely. So I'll go ahead and start sharing my screen.
Thank you.
Okay. So we call this EMF protection basics. And basically, we're just going to run through why we do what we do, the dangers of EMF, what you can do to protect yourself from EMF, the science behind our Organite and Shungite products, how we make our products, and how our products, how they work, right? And also, in addition, we've got some more science that you guys can look at, things like blood tests, plants, the ice test, the pyramid shape study, some of the benefits and testimonials. And we put all of the links that we might use in this presentation. They can be found on a blog post. Now, Lucy, we're going to give you that blog post, and we'll also, you've got your own link there. So please make sure that you look in the bottom of Lucy's video in her description and use those links to find our website, our products, and the blog post that we're going to talk about.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, so why we do what we do. We're Christians, engineers, and scientists. We feel it's our calling to help inform people about the technology that's being used against God's creation. And so, as we mentioned, we wrote the book Forbidden Tech. And like Naima talked about, and it was written in 2017. And we have our website, forbiddentech.website. And we all of our orgone products are handmade products made here, as you've been, Lucy, in the workshop.
I've witnessed it.
And that's our website for all our products, FTWproject.com. That's also where we also have the blog that talks more about how and why this technology works the way it does. And for those who are into the clean energy, we're still I have to provide an update, because a lot's been going on in the past year or two. But we have a online engineering academy for the co-development and research of building DIY off-grid energy devices. And there's some interesting stuff going on in that area too. And our website for that is cleanenergyacademy.com.
Beautiful.
Okay, so we're going to talk briefly about the dangers of EMF radiation. And there's compelling evidence for the 8 distinct types of great harm caused. Okay, can you still hear me, Lucy?
Yeah, I can. Yep, I can.
Okay. All right, so this 127-page ebook is a powerful summary. And this ebook is called The 5G Risk Scientific Perspective, written by Martin L. Paul, PhD. And it's a powerful summary of the science that the telecoms don't want you to know about. It's a multi-trillion-dollar industry. But it basically scientifically demonstrates beyond any reasonable doubt the biologically harmful effects of 5G developments and wireless radiation in general, and includes citations to 139 scientific research papers. So that's a call to action that we call people to look at.
Perfect.
Okay, and so more with who Martin Pall is. He's a professor emeritus of biochemistry and basic medical sciences at Washington State University, and this is his quote about how these wireless fields act on the body. EMFs act by activating channels in the membrane that surrounds each of our cells called voltage-gated calcium channels. Now, these EMFs put forces on these voltage sensors that control the VGCCs of about 7.2 million times greater than the forces on other charge groups in our cells. This is why weak EMFs have such large biological effects on the cells of our bodies. EMFs work this way not only on human and diverse animal cells, but also in plant cells. So this is a universal or near universal mechanism of action.
Wow.
Okay, so it's like, what can you do to protect yourself against these EMFs? And there's several things that you can do to protect yourself and your family. The most important thing to get into your body and your mind is to detox your body from heavy metals.
Think about the heavy metals in your body make you a really good antenna for any kind of fields that are being beamed in your environment at you.
Yes, it makes you very sensitive to receiving all these signals.
Yes.
Okay. Also, change your diet, to boost your immune system.
Yeah.
Your immune system is very important in this fight.
Your immune system fights off the EMF radiation symptoms. So if you boost your immune system, that can help.
It makes you more resistant to EMF.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, move to a more natural area to get out of the city. I know sometimes, depending on who you listen to, they say, oh, no, it's all bathed in EMF. You're just kind of done for. And we don't subscribe to that opinion at all. Obviously, if you're in the middle of the city surrounded by 4 cell towers, you might want to remove yourself, get to a natural rural environment, preferably. Putting distance between you and the source of that toxic activity does make a difference.
And then last but not least is to equip your home.
Oh, well,
I'm sorry.
Well, no, we have to also turn off your Wi-Fi at night. We even have a few people, especially some of the younger people who come in with their cell phones, and we try to tell them about the harmful effects of just having your cell phone near you at night. I had this one guy come in, we know him, very, very nice man. But he says, I can't sleep at night. I said, do you have your cell phone on near the bed? Yes, of course I do.
Can't do that.
He's in his early 20s, and you're like, you need to turn that off. You need to turn it off and actually take the cell phone out of the room. And he's like, no, I can't. My friends, they contact me.
Bless him. Bless him.
It's like, well, that's why you don't.
That's why I can't sleep. So,
So sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but yeah, last but not least is equip your home with EMF protection products, which is what we're going to talk about.
And I can vouch for that. I've got lots of their products in my house. I've got it, all over the place. And I can vouch for the fact that they do make one heck of a difference.
Thank you so much. Yeah. And, we feel it too. We really stand by our products. They make a huge difference in our home as well. I feel so much different when I'm home than when I'm out there, especially if I'm traveling and I'm not surrounded by my stuff. That's why we like to bring it with us, right? So here's the science behind our EMF protection products, which is called Orgone. So in the 1930s, the late Dr. Wilhelm Reich discovered that living samples placed within containers made from alternating layers of steel and non-conductive organic material were able to harness healthy cosmic energy from the environment. He called this energy orgone. These orgone accumulators had the ability to preserve blood samples for longer periods of time, sprout healthier plant seedlings, and provided pain relief for his patients who sat inside of them. It was like this big box, like a little closet that they would sit inside of.
Wow.
But fast forward to today, instead of using this box, you can make composites with a blend of iron oxide, steel, brass, shungite, and crystal powders, encased in an epoxy resin, and that this produces the same effects, and it's also able to transform the harmful wireless fields from cell towers, smart meters, smartphones, internet routers, and your television into more beneficial energy for you and your plants and your pets.
Absolutely.
And on our website, which Lucy will put the link below so you can go there, we've made a lot of videos explaining all of this science, like more in depth. I mean, we're talking 7 years worth of videos on the website. That's all there. So please go and check it all out so that you can learn all about this amazing natural technology that can help to combat the evil technology that's being used on us. So we're going to talk about shungite. We use shungite in all of our products. A big question we often get is, what's the difference between shungite and organite? So organite is that composite that we just mentioned, that it contains all those ingredients, including shungite. But shungite itself is a rare mineral believed to come from an asteroid that can only be found in one place in the world, and that's in Karelia, Russia.
Yeah.
It's the only mineral of its kind that contains fullerenes, which have been proven effective in protection from EMFs and also used for cleaning nuclear waste, such as Fukushima. Can you explain the fullerenes and the spin, Tivon?
So basically what we have, these fullerenes are very special type. This Russian scientists, because it's obviously in their part of the world, have studied this mineral fully. And what they found is that it can take toxic radiation or contaminants and trap it within its fullerene, which looks like a soccer ball, a buckyball structure. And this is basically carbon. It's another form of carbon, but again, this is a unique structure here. And it takes that toxic element and basically neutralizes it within its fullerene cage. Now, and what you see in this illustration is that it also takes electromagnetic fields, and these fields, when they go through or in proximity to these fullerenes, changes the fields to something that is from toxic that we're experiencing with 5G to something that is more biocompatible. It's amazing that this can actually do that. So the field still passes through, okay? But it comes through with a different nature.
Like
it becomes harmonized.
It's even changing the spin direction.
It even changes the
truly remarkable. Truly remarkable.
Yeah. So this is why we try to explain to people. They're like, oh, is this just going to block EMFs? It's like, it's different.
Yeah.
It doesn't block EMFs. It changes the energy, literally.
It doesn't block as much as changing the field. It has huge applications. Basically, if you think about it, Lucy, this is a kind of technology where transmitters could be made safe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Provide these things as like a filter of a kind.
Absolutely.
For EMF radiation, you could receive data wirelessly and it not kill you.
Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant.
Now, this is just showing you in some pictures how we make our products. Lucy was here, so
I've been there.
Process. We have a team of all of us, including us. It's about 10 people, and we make Organite all day, 3 days a week, and we ship out to customers all over the world. So we're like a fully up and running business, and we're constantly making this. So I'm
going to look out some of the videos and stuff that I took when I was there. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to find them, put them through my social media, because it was amazing. My personal experience, like being in there whilst they were making this, was absolutely incredible. The team are just beautiful as well.
It's a wonderful energy in that room too, because you can really feel it. We take these ingredients, the different powders, and that's a big difference too. We don't use shavings or giant crystals. We use everything in powder form, and the reason for that is that the more powder, the more something is ground down to a smaller size, the more surface area it has. And so the surface area has to do with the piezoelectric effect that happens when the items cure.
Yeah.
So that makes it more powerful. So using powders means more surface area, which makes our products more powerful than perhaps maybe other pieces of Organite that don't use powders and they just have large crystals inside of them. That's less surface area, and the field would be less powerful, is what we experience. So that is the reason why we use only powders. We take all the powders, crystal quartz, shungite, bronze, iron oxide,
Yeah.
steel, all these powders. We blend them all together into this powdery mix up here on the top right.
Yeah.
And then that gets slowly fed into an epoxy resin, which is not toxic once it's cured. Okay, because people ask us, is epoxy toxic? It's the same stuff that your computer is made out of and your cell phone is made out of that really hard plastic. That's what epoxy resin is. It gets blended into that, and then it gets put into a mold that we make ourselves here as well, from masters that Tivon has created on his CAD programs, and we had them. We had masters made for us, so we've got this whole production line set up. We pour it in there, and it has to wait 24 to 48 hours for it to cure, or get hard. The epoxy gets hard, and when that cures, what happens is, well, this is what happens. Here we go.
Yeah. That's good.
So this is how so when all of these ingredients cure into a solid plastic state, it puts pressure on the surface area of the ingredients. This causes something known as the piezoelectric effect, which emits a harmonizing field generated by the specific properties of the ingredients. It's this field that transforms the harmful energy from EMFs into the healthy, life-preserving energy. And you can place our products all around yourself and your environment for the best effect. And the field never stops. It never runs out. You never have to charge it or replace it. Once it's set, it's just constantly emanating this passive field of orgone energy, and all of the properties inside of those ingredients, especially the shungite with all the fullerenes, is being emanated into the environment on a constant basis. And that's what changes your environment around you.
Yeah.
I can vouch for it. I have your pyramids all over the place. Like literally, I have everywhere in my space. I have your product set up, particularly around like where my Wi-Fi is. And although I turn it off of an evening, I make sure that there's something there. It's on the back of my phone here. I don't know if you guys can see that. You know, I literally have them everywhere, because I am such a firm believer, like having been there and felt the energy there. I know, and you know, people have had my products in their house for like a couple of weeks or whatever whilst I've been traveling, and they're like, oh my God. so I can absolutely vouch for the fact that these products are amazing.
And you know, just real quick, I want to make sure I cover this, because we've built a pool since you were last here. We spent this last year building an in-ground pool. Wow. And we took our tiles. I don't think I have one handy to hold up.
It's across the room. But
we make tiles out of Organite that you could use in construction products.
Wow.
That's all right. We'll show our picture at the end.
Okay.
Hang on. So I'll just skip here. Right down here. So like these are our tiles down here. So we make these for construction projects. So we built a pool, and we put these tiles all around this waterfall feature of the pool. So there is shungite Organite energy creating a field with running water on our property. And when it goes into the water in the pool, and we have the waterfall. Now, if you know anything about negative ions, our products are natural negative ion generators. Negative ions are the things that are good for you. It's like treating your body electrically. So when you have negative ions, that boosts your immune system. It gives you life energy and life force. So like when you're at the ocean, when you're by waterfalls and running water, these are out in nature. Those are high negative ion environments. So our products create those negative ions passively and put them into the environment and put them into your body to make you feel better. So this pool that we've just built, we just were able to start swimming in it like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I swim in pools all the time. This pool is special because of these orgone tiles that we put around the pool, because it's literally charging the water. And I don't know did you ever see that movie Cocoon?
Yes.
Right? You remember in Cocoon, they put the cocoons in the pool, and then when they swam in the pool, they felt like really good and really young and vibrant.
Yes.
That is how I feel when I swim in my pool.
I'm coming to visit.
And I'm telling you, I
Amazing.
think it's because of these shungite tiles that we've put
Beautiful.
all around everywhere.
Beautiful.
So let's talk a little bit more about the science.
Okay, so there are a couple of experiments. People say, oh, how can you prove that this works? And there's no meter that can give you an encompassing measure, what are you measuring with these complex fields that exist in the volume of space. So what you do is you do experiments like what the University of Pennsylvania did, or the labs of Heraclitus Microscopic Research Laboratory did, in trying to replicate the experiments by Dr. Wilhelm Reich and applying it to the composites that people are making, like what we do. And the popular experiments are growing things on charge plates or putting them within orgone chambers, like what University of Pennsylvania did on the right, where you had the seedlings experiment we talked about earlier, where they had a control box, a wooden box, and they put seedlings with a damp cloth to have them grow, and put one within an orgone accumulator, and in that box as well. What they found is that the seedlings in the orgone accumulator, as you can see to the dish on the right, grew more of them germinated,
Wow.
and sprouted with tails that were, by measurement, millimeters longer than the ones on the left.
Wow.
So there's a condition in the energy, and there's a potential that's inside that box due to its construction. And then likewise with these composites that are being made. The same thing was done after blood tests as well. You find this interesting. So in blood tests on the left here, several patients were given they gave two samples of blood. Again, one was put within a controlled environment and the other was put within an accumulator box. Now, blood naturally decays once it's out of the body. It's a living fluid. Once it leaves the body, it starts to decay. So what they're measuring is the decay rate. And then what they found is that after 50 minutes of the blood draw, what happens to blood, it turns into something called ribosomes. You get these structures on the blood where it loses its roundness and starts to become spiky.
Yeah.
And then this is what happens as it starts to fall apart. And on the right, you see more of these spiky, dying blood cells.
Yeah.
And that's normal condition after 50 minutes.
Yeah.
Versus on the left, where you only have literally two.
Yeah. Wow. That's impressive.
And so basically what orgone energy is this field. Water absorbs that energy. Water naturally absorbs it. Your blood is mostly water. So when it's inside the chamber, it absorbs that energy and it revitalizes your blood. That's the implication. So that's why patients came out after 50 minutes of being in a large accumulator box, feeling like they've been rejuvenated.
Wow.
Because it preserves the blood like some kind of sarcophagus or something.
Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. So just for my clarity, and just in case anybody else is wondering this when they watch this, the picture on the right was obviously done under normal conditions. The other one was the blood was taken whilst they were surrounded by Organite, or was it taken and then it was put in an Organite container, or how did that work?
Yeah, yes.
So they took blood from one person, the same person, and then they split that blood into two different vials.
Right.
And they put one vial in one box without any Organite, and they put another vial in a box with Organite.
Orgone accumulator.
Orgone energy. And so the one on the left is the one that had the orgone accumulator.
It's a massive difference, right? And I just wanted to clear that up, because if I'm wondering that question, other people might be, but that's a massive difference. I love this stuff.
What the laboratory found is that the life of the blood extended by 70%.
Yeah,
wow.
70%. So it's like a fountain of youth for your blood.
Wow, that's amazing. Sheesh. Such a huge number.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, on the right, this is, and I think this garden, the picture on the right with the garden has been shared multiple times. Actually, I think the gardeners in your neck of the woods, I will say out of the UK, or I think it's UK. Yeah.
Amazing.
And where they take Organite and they put it within the garden beds, and they found that over a season, they found that the normal, because we've observed this ourselves. When you're once you can garden, once you can properly grow things, then you can start to experiment and see the change. And they found is that everything was a lot more lush and flourished, more plants sprouted in the bed that had the organite. In that case, they had a couple of garden pucks in the pyramid
This
in
is
that on the
incredible.
right
But it's
versus on the
such a
left where there's
difference.
nothing there on the left. Yeah.
Such a
Yeah.
huge difference, right? Such a huge difference. That's amazing.
And I know on some of the Organite forums, some of those people are they do the prize winning garden competition, and that's one of their secrets. They have
Giving their secrets away now.
The giant pumpkins and things. Yeah.
There will be a war now. Everyone would be like, right, I need to get my Organite.
And this is the ice test, which is really interesting. So what happens is that when you take water, so first you want to do this before you use any Organite, and you just want to take like a glass of water, put it in the freezer and let it freeze, and that would be your control, so you can see the pattern that freezes in the ice
without the Organite,
without any Organite. Then you put Organite in the freezer, like this is one of our charge plates, our older ones, and a glass of water on top of it, and you can see these little like striated spikes coming out. That is evidence of a field being generated.
Wow.
So, and then you see this is like a vortex, like a little tornado in the center. So this is what happens. The energy field coming from the orgone charge plate is being captured in the ice. So this is the ice test. Some people use like some dye, some food coloring, so that you can see that even though it's evenly dispersed throughout all the water, the food coloring will suck into the center and
it actually
color the tornado.
Brings the pigments into the middle of the glass.
Wow.
And that's evidence of a field being generated from the orgone plate. So that's one way that you can see and measure the fields that are being generated.
Incredible.
Now we're going to talk a little bit about pyramids before we just quickly show you all the different products that we've got. And I know that this is probably very exciting to you because you've been to Egypt, right? And so we're going to talk about the pyramids of Giza as well. But first, let's just talk about the shape of the pyramid.
Okay, so pyramids on their shape alone has a very special function in this world. Because of its geometry, it can easily couple to the environment around the earth, okay? Because the earth is a very dynamic, energetic place. So the research about pyramids were done by Professor Alexander Golod. Now, he did this in the late 90s, early 2000s, this research. He was a Ukrainian former defense contractor and scientist who performed pyramid research and experiments that involved using expensive military helicopters and equipment. This is in around Moscow. That can be measured using that could measure what they found, ion columns that were coming into in the atmosphere that were generated from these pyramids. He made these pyramids that were 10 meters tall. I think they're 10 meters, or 10 stories. Sorry, 10 stories. Very big pyramids that you can walk into. So they were hollow on the inside. I think they're primarily wooden frame. No metal frames were in there, but giant wooden frame structure that was reinforced by fiberglass cladding. So these are like fiberglass giant pyramids. And he built dozens of them all around Moscow and other parts of Russia. I think he built them in some oil fields in Russia too, to see what the effects were. And they found is that these pyramids coupled with the earth environment, they created negative ions that came out from the apex. And the shape of the pyramid has its function. It directs energy out through the tip to affect the environment around it. And it is also based on that research why we found validation in making orgone energy shungite pyramids. Because it doesn't matter the size, but they can, especially when you use powders, based on what we know about orgone energy, they can be used to be placed around your property to create a grid of protection against EMF, cell phone towers, and chemtrails. So based on this interaction with the environment, these chemtrails or the aerosol spraying that's toxic is all positively charged when it comes out the plane. So what you do is you send negative ions into the environment that go upward, binds to those toxic, positively charged chemicals, and it sends in your neighborhood. That's basically how the interaction works. And by doing that, you're basically sweeping clean the local environment by using this technology. That's how that works. So what you'll find is that if you have a lot of chemtrail spraying and it creates this gray sheet in your environment with these pyramids around, it will start to take that activity and break it up. You'll start to see wisps, clouds of wisps and wispy clouds, and you start to see patches of blue or real sky above you as it's working to break that up. And you look around you like miles away, you'll still see that constant sheet.
Amazing.
That's how you can tell that there's activity going on there.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible.
And to reaffirm what pyramids are able to do with the environment, this was confirmed in 2018, phys.org. Scientists confirmed that the Great Pyramid of Giza and those other pyramids in Egypt can focus electromagnetic energy. And this is after a couple of years of research. They're hitting these pyramids with all kinds of frequencies. They're climbing the pyramid, they're sending probes in, and we're doing simulations on large radio waves hitting the pyramid from above. And what they found is that this international research group has applied methods of theoretical physics to investigate the electromagnetic response of the Great Pyramid to radio waves. Now, the scientists predicted that under resonance conditions, their pyramid can concentrate electromagnetic energy in its internal chambers and under the base. The research group plans to use these theoretical results to design nanoparticles capable of reproducing similar effects in the optical range. So obviously they have applications for trying to apply this in the small scale, nanoscale. But the propagation of what you see on the left is a pyramid like the size of Giza, the Giza pyramid, and these different images are them applying different frequencies of radio waves to the top of the pyramid to see how it behaves. And what they found underneath is, like, you see this beam or column underneath the pyramid, like deep in the ground. That is the effect of the pyramid being exposed to these radio waves. There's energy. The pyramid is taking that energy and is focusing it inside of its pyramid and into the ground. And so they said the propagation of electromagnetic waves inside the pyramid of Cheops at different lengths of radio waves. The black rectangular position is a so-called King's Chamber. And this is the ITMO University in Hanover. And so these large pyramids are transducers of energy. Did the founding designers or creators of these pyramids, it seems like they know what they were doing.
Yeah. So there's a lot to be said about the shape of the pyramids. And this is why when we say use our pyramids to grid your property, we're just trying to explain scientifically what we found that shows that that's exactly what they do. They grid the property. They go into the energy field goes into the earth, and it goes up into the sky as well.
Connecting energetically. Yeah. Creating
an energy grid on your property. So just our last couple slides here. These are the different types of products that we make. We've got sleeping pods for a good night's sleep. We've got charge plates for use around the home to preserve your food. So the charge plates, you can put them in your fridge, and they will help to extend the life of your groceries. Especially great if you've got like organic fruits and vegetables that are very expensive and you want them to last longer than just a couple days. They make my romaine lettuce last for like a month in the fridge.
Wow. It really helps my fruits and vegetables stay fresh. And at the moment, because I've literally just finished a heavy metal detox yesterday, which made me chuckle when you were talking about it. And now I'm water fasting for the next 3 days before I go into juices. And I've just got my water charging on it at the moment because, that's the vibration I need in my body right now. So it's great too. It's divine timing, all of this as always.
Yeah. But if you do a study on structured water, there's a whole field of knowledge about structuring your water. Yeah. The field that's generated from our charge plates structures water when you put like a pitcher of water on top of the charge
preferably distilled water,
right?
Yeah.
Preferably distilled water. It structures the water, which makes it much healthier for you to drink. And the structured water does great things in your body, especially if you're coming out of a heavy metal detox and things like that.
Absolutely.
We've done that as well, and the structured water really makes a difference. So use our charge plates to structure your water, and you just set a pitcher like maybe 45 minutes on top of the charge plate, and that should give it enough time for that.
I just leave mine there. I'm going to be buzzing.
People have like those special water filters. You could set the whole water filter right on top of the charge plate.
Absolutely.
So
Perfect. Perfect.
field goes through the water. It's great stuff. We
Perfect.
also have phone shields to put on your phone. You were showing that earlier.
I could go on your phone, your smart TV, your monitor, your
Yeah,
laptops.
you can just stick it on all of your, like on your routers,
Your routers.
even, wherever you.
Exactly.
Our pendants as well. Those are really helpful to just take with you. You know, some people don't want to wear a necklace. Some people want to put the pendant in their pocket.
Yeah, yeah.
People want to put they want to sew it into a hat, like whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
It's best in the torso area. That's what they're designed for. And people always ask us, there's a ton of questions. We have a humongous FAQs page on our website. We've made dozens and dozens of videos answering all of these questions because we're getting tons of them all the time. So please check that out as far as can I swap this product with that product? We've already answered that question, so you can go check those out. We've got our pyramids and garden sets for gridding your home property or your garden for EMF protection on a large scale. Now, Lucy, you've been here and you saw some of our gardens. We've been working on them ever since. We have like 100 garden beds here on our property, and we've got Organite displays in between.
Everywhere. Everywhere.
So we created our property so that we're basically able to grow an oasis of food in a desert climate because of the orgone energy. And we also use permaculture methods as well. So we've got like, we do mulch and we do organic matter in the soil and all these
composting,
composting, companion planting. We do all kinds of things, but the orgone energy really helps to create that energy field for healthy plants. And so we're able to grow things here that people can't grow.
Amazing.
In this neighborhood. But actually they can grow in the neighborhood now because we've gridded our property so much. I'm sure our neighbors are benefiting from the
Absolutely.
energy.
Absolutely. If there's one thing I remember about your place, I mean, your workshop is incredible, but your gardens were like, it was almost like there was this beautiful big energy field over it. And it was like walking through a greenhouse, if that makes sense, but there was no greenhouse. Why do you need a greenhouse in your temperatures, but it was incredible. It really, really was.
Lush and green and not what you see right
not
next
what you
door
expect in the desert of Morocco, right?
Absolutely. So that's what we put our garden sets together for, with the pyramids and all those little garden pucks. You can use them also. We've got like an urban garden set if you have like a small patio, or like maybe have like a little outside patio or an indoor garden or one of those tower gardens. Use these on their tower gardens as well. That'll really help. If you're doing hydroponics and all of that stuff, you can definitely use this.
I'm just about to get a tower garden, so it's interesting you say that.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah, they're fabulous. They're absolutely fabulous.
And then also, as I was mentioning earlier, our tiles for incorporating EMF protection into your construction projects. And you don't have to buy a lot of the tiles. You can buy like 5 tiles and then space them out
through your normal tiles.
Another tile that's cheaper. Wow. To create that field. So it's not like you have to tile the entire surface.
That'd be way too expensive.
Yeah, with the tiles, you can space these out like maybe a meter apart.
Yeah.
Or you could like, if you're like, let's say you're doing a bathroom or a meditation room or something like that, you could put these tiles into that room and space them out like a meter apart in order to create an environment for your healing and your meditation or your bath time, whatever it is. But it really does. I'm telling you, I have the pool from the movie Cocoon. And
now you're going to have thousands of people saying, "Hey, I'm coming to stay." Amazing, amazing.
And just a quick list, here's the benefits from our products. You get better sleep, there's stress relief, pain relief. We've gotten lots of testimonies about pain relief. Yeah. Because you'd be surprised. Pain in your body might be caused from the EMFs.
And your testimonies, they're all on your website, are they?
Yes. We've got a lot of our testimonies on our website. Our healthy home environment, better seed germination and plant growth. So if you're into gardening and planting all kinds of different things, you can get better yields as well if you use orgone. It preserves your food and extends the shelf life of your food. So if you're into prepping and food storage, you definitely want to use these in your food storage areas to preserve the life of your food, and also maintaining healthy blood. And a lot of us really need to be paying attention to what's going on in our blood these days, because there's so many toxins in our environment. So we want to keep that blood healthy and clean and full of life. And yeah, these are just a couple of our testimonies. We've got a whole bunch of them on our website if you want to read the testimonies of our customers. And we've been doing this since 2017. We've had over 20,000 customers now.
Yeah.
And from all over the world. We ship all over the world. Worldwide shipping is included in all of our prices. And we have a lot of repeat customers that come back, they try something and they come back and they get more. And that just tells us that our stuff works and it's really helping a lot of people.
Wow.
And we're also helping to change the energy field of the whole planet because of how much Organite we've dispersed over the years, generating all those little energy fields. So
I love
makes us
I love
great.
I love that last testimonial that was just there about the boy with ADHD. That's incredible. Like so incredible, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, some of these testimonials are so they hit us so hard. It's like we don't want to mention it because this is the kind of stuff we get. This is what we get.
It's amazing. That's so, I mean, it's amazing hearing the adults getting the benefits with their sleep and stuff, but when it's a child, it hits slightly different, doesn't it? It does with me anyway. I'm kind of like, wow. And this is, you know, the reason I do all the work around the world that I do is because it's for the kids. It's, you know, yes, I'm helping their parents, but it's for the kids. And when you read something like that, it's amazing, guys. You two are an absolute force to be reckoned with. And I absolutely love it that the universe.
Thank you, Lucy. I mean, we know that everyone is different. And so it's really special when we hear from what other people are saying. And we want everyone to give it a try. You know, we do have a return policy, but I mean, when we get testimonials like this, it does make us wonder. I mean, there's all kinds of areas where we love to hear testimonials to know that this stuff is actually working in that and in this area also, you know, and yeah.
And the two things about the children, so you know, the mind of a child, that innocence, and you know, without all of that stuff that adults have as you get older and you lose that innocence that you had as a child, we see how children respond to our products, and it's basically just, mommy, I want to hold the pendant. Can I just hold the pendant, mommy? I really like the way it feels in my hand, mommy. Like that's the kind of thing that we get from our testimonials. In addition to animals. So we catch our animals. We have a lot of pets. We have like 5 cats now and 2 dogs, and we're getting chickens soon.
Oh,
but
amazing.
we catch our animals sleeping on top of the Organite all the time. So like you'll have, like, you know, you make your bed, the sleeping pod is underneath the blanket,
duvet cover,
right? And you can't see it, but the cat knows where it is, and the cat goes and sleeps right on top of the sleeping pod.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Because they feel the energy. It's just natural to say it feels better over here than it does
over there.
You know?
I think any animal is very very lucky to have been taken into your home with all of the energy that's there. Genuinely, I'm like, I don't blame them wanting to be your pets. You know, it's absolutely amazing. You guys blow me away. I'm so grateful to you both for obviously giving me some of your time today to come on and share your beautiful products and also share the information about Morocco and what's been going on there. And I just want to reiterate what I said to you guys earlier. I'm sending you guys so much love, and, you know, anything that we can do to support you energetically or anything like that, all you need to do is give us a shout. But we are going to do the meditation and make sure that some calm and some peace gets instilled over there whilst this situation continues to go on, and fingers crossed whilst the government still continue to work and get things sorted as quickly as they have been so far. Do you have any parting words?
Thank you, Lucy.
Oh, no, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. It's so lovely to see you both again.
Yeah, same here.
Likewise.
It really, really is. Okay, ladies and gents, thank you so much for watching. As we have discussed. All of the links are going to be in the description field below this video, so please do go and check that out. Any questions at all, drop me an email at support@lucydavis.com and I will be able to get back to you as quickly as possible. Thank you both for your gorgeous time today. I really appreciate it. And ladies and gents, I'll see you in the next video. Lots of love.
Bye-bye.
Bye.